Happy Thursday, everyone. We're getting ready for Akedat Yitzchak in this parsha, the binding of Isaac, the sacrifice of Isaac. Basic story: Abraham is told by Hashem to sacrifice his son, to slaughter his son upon the mountain, Mount Moriah. And he goes, and at the last moment, the angel intervenes. Angel of Hashem intervenes and tells him, don't do it. And this is seen as Abraham's test of faith. That's the basic story. One of the great questions is the word na. Nun aleph, na. Na, in biblical Hebrew, means please. Lashon bakasha. It means please. Bevakasha. Request. Language of request. This is all over the Torah and the commentaries. It's interesting because in the beginning of the Kedah, it says, Hashem says to Avraham, Kachna et binecha, please take your son and go and slaughter him. He doesn't command him. And some of the commentaries explain, why did he not command him? Hashem willed to not take away Abraham's free will. He wanted Abraham to pass this test from pure ahavat Hashem, love of Hashem, to fulfill Hashem's will. And therefore he says, please. It's fascinating. It doesn't say please anywhere else when he talks to Hashem, when Hashem talks to Abraham. When it says lech lecha, it doesn't say lech lecha na el artzecha. It doesn't say the word na. Other times Hashem talks to Abraham, he doesn't say na. But this one time he says na. Because he didn't want it to be a commandment that, so to speak, took away Abraham's free will. Oh, Hashem commanded. Hashem requested. Say, please, can you take your son? You would think that Abraham's response should be, well, if you're asking, maybe I shouldn't. Didn't you say that my son should be, and the commentaries always should be the continuation of my lineage, right? He should respond or have this discussion with Hashem. Where is the Abraham that argues with God when God decides to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? Where Abraham is arguing with Hashem. Where is that Abraham? When it comes to his own son, he doesn't argue with Hashem. But he goes and he does it. And there's an additional question. And this is also in the commentaries. Why was Sarah left out? Why was Sarah left out of this last test, the binding of Isaac, the sacrifice of Isaac? Why didn't God, Hashem, also try to test Sarah? You guys, your parents, Shecht, your son. And I think the answer is because, on one hand, Hashem had to say na, please, request, without commanding. And if he commanded and Sarah was there, then Sarah would have followed the command, because if you're a prophet, you're a prophet and Hashem commands you, then you follow the prophet. But here's the catch. If he said na to Sarah, please to Sarah, Sarah would have said no. Why would have Sarah said no? Well, this is an answer, a very deep answer. And there is there's a tshuva of Rav Moshe Feinstein about this, about the spiritual reality of a woman in halacha. And Rav Kook also in his writings talks about this. And we can also understand the idea from the following case. Vaikach tela mitzalotav, Hashem took a rib from Adam Arishon from Adam to make Chava, to make Eve, to make woman. The rib itself is complete in and of itself. It's a complete rib. Man is inherently lacking. A Jewish man is inherently lacking. Men are inherently spiritually lacking. That's why a Jewish man, has a obligation to learn Torah, to put on tefillin, to do more mitzvot than a woman. A woman is a spiritual identity in of itself that is complete, and her inherent capacity of her ethical faculty is much greater than the man. The man needs intellect in order to understand ethics. He needs revelation and revelation, divine revelation and intellect and directions and a book and learning to guide him. Whereas a woman's inherent moral compass, her ethical ability, that faculty, is much more complete. That's why she does not have to put on tzitzit. She does not have to put on tefillin. She is obligated in some mitzvot, like, for example, to pray. And this is in the Tshuva of Moshe Feinstein and in the writings of Rav Kook. And it seems to be the answer that if Hashem wanted to say kachna, please, without commanding to not take away the free will, in order to test Abraham. On the other hand, if he said kachna and included, please take your son and sacrifice him, na, and he included Sarah in Sarah Imenu in that test, then she would have argued, right? Her inherent ethical faculty would have been like, wait a second, you promise my husband that Isaac was going to be the continuation of his lineage? Did you promise that the Jewish people would come from him? Or shouldn't we not sacrifice our children? Isn't it the whole point of you, Hashem? And so Sarah is left out of this nisayon, because the spiritual reality of a woman and the spiritual reality of a man is different. Whether you are a Jewish man or whether you are a Jewish woman, I hope that these words will give you chizuk in your relationship with the Torah, your relationship with the avot and the imahot, the holy patriarchs and matriarchs, and through all of that, with your relationship with Hashem. May you have a great bracha and a great Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.